Welcome, my entrepreneurs, business owners, and business leaders. My name's Terrell Curry, founder and managing partner at Infinite Business Strategies. And I'd like to thank you for joining us as we discuss our Business Turbo Boost tip of the week. And that tip is the voices to listen to. So when I talk about voices, I'm not talking about those individual voices that may be lurking in your head, but I'm talking about the indicators that are helping you decide what to do to improve or enhance your business. And it's very important that you get feedback to understand how things are working if you are trying to get to that next level. So the first voice that we're going to talk about is the voice of the customer. Is that not the most important voice? Is one of many, but voice of the customer is very important. And I have some questions for you to ask yourself to make sure that you understand from a customer's perspective how you can improve your business. So the first question is, do you know from a customer's perspective what is working? What's going well? What do they want more of? I mean, if you think about it, if you're providing a service and you have multiple services you're providing, but there's one that stands out the most, would you not want to advertise that? Would you not want to do more of what's working well? The next question when it comes to voice of the customer is, do you know what's not working? What are those things from a customer's perspective that are not working well that you need to work on or improve? If you get that feedback from the customer that something's not working well, would you not want to improve it? So does not it make sense to make sure that you are working on things? You have an active plan to work on those things that need improvement from a customer's perspective. Once again, it doesn't necessarily matter your perspective when your customer is always right or your customer is whom you're trying to make the improvements for. Why not make sure you get that voice? Another thing is, will they return? 90% of most businesses get their customers from either being repeat business or they get recommendations from others. Which brings me to the next question. Will they recommend others? Why not get that feedback so you understand what you need to work on? If someone is not likely to return, would you not want to know why? If they're not going to recommend someone else, would you not want to know why? Most of my business comes from referrals because people enjoy the service that I provided for them. So why would you not seek the advice of those individuals that are trying to let you know why they won't recommend others or give you repeat business? Is there a customer feedback loop? It's very hard to capture the voice of the customer if you don't ask, if you don't get that feedback from your customers. Some businesses have surveys they give out. Some have questionnaires that they ask individuals for. It's very important that you create that feedback loop for your customer. The next voice we're going to discuss is the voice of the employee. So keep in mind, this is not necessarily your perspective, but from the perspective of your employees. They see things differently than you as a business leader or a business partner or a CEO or business owner sees the business. They operate in processes that you don't always see firsthand. They see things from a perspective that you don't always see. Remember, your perspective is only what you see in your eyes. You're not there 24 hours a day. You're not doing every little step of the process. So why not understand from their perspective what it's going to take for you to be an employer of choice? Do they feel like they are efficient? When you think about it, efficiency is all about what you measure, right? Well, you can't measure every aspect of what they do, but one thing I know that a happy employee makes for a happy business, which leads to customer satisfaction. That smile that your employees show on their face is transmitted to the customers as they walk in the door. They feel the presence that the environment that's made from your employees. So if they feel efficient, if they feel like they've had a good day, at the end of the day, that actually shows up in your business. So what do they feel is making them feel efficient? Do they feel that they're efficient? What would they improve? From their perspective, if something's not efficient, if something's not working well, do you ask them, what would you improve? What are the top 3 things you would improve about this business? If they are happy, that transmits to your customers. So you need to make sure you understand what would they improve. Is there a feedback loop for your employees? Do you have an open door policy? Are you open to criticism? Are you open to ideas and new perspectives? That diversity that's within your workforce transmits to your customer. It actually shows up because they give you a perspective that you wouldn't necessarily see. They're going to come up with ideas that you wouldn't necessarily think about because they have a different perspective. So why not take advantage of that perspective and capture the voice of your employee? The next voice that we're going to discuss is the voice of the business. So we're in business for a reason. Most people don't start businesses just because it's a hobby they like to do and they want to formalize it. They have some type of goals in mind. What are those goals? Do your employees understand those goals? Are you all moving towards the same target? How is success measured? You know, I always say that if you're not keeping score, you're just practicing. So what are you doing to make sure you know if you had a good day, if you had a good hour, if you had a good week, if you had a good month? Is that goal not represented throughout your business? And is it not measured so people know what success looks like? It's very easy to say that we had a good day, but what's your definition of good? Is good you had 15 new customers, 20 new customers? Is good you didn't produce 50% scrap today? Whatever it is, how are you measuring success? And how do you compare it to best in class? Or how do you compare it to your competition? Once again, you might set a goal, but if your goal isn't quite big enough to make sure that you're competitive, then what's the point? So you need to understand what best in class looks like. Maybe your vision needs to be a little bit different, but you need to understand what that looks like. And the next voice we're going to talk about is the voice of the process. You know, I'm real big into measuring things. You know, I've said before that, I was an electrical computer engineer, and it's very hard for me to understand the definition of good and bad just using those words, good and bad. But by me converting things to numbers, we will all agree that 6 is more than 5. So if I can show you that something has a certain value of 6 and something has another value of 5, we will both agree, yes or yes, that 6 is more than 5. So how do you measure your process? Do you and your team even understand process capability? So when I think about process capability, I think of my late grandmother who used to make this outstanding caramel cake. It was just delicious. I hadn't tasted a caramel cake like it. I used to just wait for the day that she says, "Hey, Terry, we're making a caramel cake this weekend. Make sure you come by." And I would be first in line to get a piece of this caramel cake, normally trying to take most of it home. However, although her process for her making the cake was very capable, it was repeatable. The caramel cake tastes the same every time. As I got older and I started being able to explore in the kitchen myself, I want to make that cake that my grandmother makes. Well, when I went to ask her about the recipe, I'm not sure about your grandmother, but my grandmother didn't write a lot of things down. So she would put in a dab of this, a pinch of that, a little bit of that. You know how much, around the same amount that you would put in this other type of dish, which I didn't make, so I didn't know how much that was. But when I attempted using that process to make her cake, it turned out something different. I don't know what I made. I don't know if what I made was more like a caramel muffin, but it was not the cake that my grandmother made. But the capability and the repeatability of that process wasn't there. But guess what? There's a way to measure process capability. On top of that, do you and your team understand how to measure process efficiency? How do you measure process efficiency? Do you know that there are industry standards for efficiency? I mean, we're not going to deep dive into it now, but process efficiency can be measured by the amount or percentage of value added time in a process over the total time. Now, I'm not going to show you how to calculate that today, but just understand that, remember, I tell people all the time, you don't have to be the expert, you have to know the expert. At Infinite Business Strategies, we know how to measure process efficiency. And not only can we help you measure it, but we can tell you how you stack up against best in class so that you have a target. Because no sense in reinventing the wheel. If someone else is more efficient at doing it, let's find out what they do and incorporate some of those best practices. And the next voice that we're going to talk about is the voice of the supplier. So this is not necessarily applicable to everyone, but if you have a business, you have some type of suppliers that either give you materials or services for you to make sure that your business moves forward. So are you a customer of choice? Now, typically in most companies, and I work with a lot of Fortune 5 companies, but a lot of them don't take the time to understand the value of being a customer of choice. So you think about it, how do your supply costs compare to your competition? Now, let's say that you and I have similar businesses, and we both go to the same supplier for some of our raw materials, but I pay twice as much as you do. That would make me pause and think, how are they getting a better price? First of all, do I even know that they're getting a price? Am I taking the time to build relationships with my supply base so that I can stay competitive? Would your suppliers approach you first with new innovations? Do you even encourage your suppliers to innovate? That's an opportunity that best-in-class companies have found and they take advantage of. They have innovation to innovation sessions where they're saying, listen, from a customer's perspective, this is what we see upcoming as what the customer's going to need. I'm anticipating the needs of my customer. In order for me to be able to supply this, I need you as a supplier to be able to provide me with this type of technology, this type of innovation. Let me know when you're working on, because I'll give you more business if you can bring it to me. So do you encourage them not only to be innovative, but do you encourage them to bring that innovation to you so you can stay ahead of the competition? That's an opportunity. And once again, these voices are all about identifying opportunities for you to make your business better. Well, remember, I always say that you don't have to be the expert. You have to know the expert. And in Infinite Business Strategies, we can help. So I encourage you, schedule a free one-on-one consultation today so we can discuss further how Infinite Business Strategies can help you get to that next level, starting off with your vision and you identifying these voices. We want you to make sure that you have the ample time to explore possibilities and improvement opportunities for your business. And we can help you do that. So I encourage you, go to our website and you can look at the information that explains to you how we can help, the different types of workshops that we have. I encourage you to schedule a free 30-minute consultation so we can discuss you in particular and your business and how we may be able to help. You can either sign up for one of our scheduled workshops that we have already to start that first step in going to your next level and turbo boost your business. You can get that one-on-one consultation and arrange for us to come to your site and do a custom maturity assessment to help you come up with a strategy and a plan to get there. And remember, you don't have to be the expert. You just know the expert. We can help you along the way. We teach you the skills necessary for you to help get to your next level. Once again, I'd like to thank you. This has been another Infinite Business Strategies Business Turbo Boost Tip of the Week. And I look forward to helping you take your business to the next level. Thank you.